Hello, fans! Welcome back to ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today we will learn about the issue that has completely shaken the lives of several core characters, Cecily Carly Spencer, Willow Tate, and Sasha Gilmore. What began as a quiet unease has now exploded into a full-blown emotional disaster, revealing deep betrayals, mental instability, and the heartbreaking decision of a mother to walk away from the life she once knew. It all started when Carly began to notice unsettling inconsistencies in the accounts surrounding Sasha's sudden departure from Port Charles. Sasha, once a resilient figure despite her grief and trauma, had left without much warning. Her exit raised eyebrows, particularly because she left behind her daughter, Daisy, and a promising support network. For weeks, Carly dismissed rumors and tried to give Sasha the benefit of the doubt until new information surfaced. Carly eventually uncovered evidence that Willow had been stalking Daisy, Sasha's daughter. At first, the notion seemed unthinkable. Willow, a nurse and former teacher, was considered one of the more composed women in Port Charles. But when Carly accessed security footage showing Willow parked outside Sasha's home multiple times, and after witnesses confirmed seeing Willow lurking near playgrounds when Daisy was present, the pieces fell into place. The final confirmation came from Sasha herself, who had confided to Carly that she left because she didn't feel safe enough for herself, but for her child. Carly was furious. To her, there was no justification. She saw Willow's actions not only as dangerous, but as deeply unwell. While she had previously supported Willow through various emotional and physical health battles, this latest revelation proved to her that Willow was no longer in a state of mind suitable for being around children, especially Wiley and Amelia. Carly made the immediate decision to cut off all access to the children, placing their safety as her top priority. Willow, learning that she had been exposed and cut off, spiraled quickly. She tried to reach out to Carly, first through texts and then in person. At first, her tone was calm and apologetic. But as Carly remained stone-faced and resolute, Willow's emotional state deteriorated. In a fit of desperation, she begged Carly to reconsider, declaring that she was simply trying to protect Daisy and that her intentions had been misunderstood. Carly didn't believe a word of it. She accused Willow of being mentally unstable, of manipulating everyone around her, and of driving Sasha away. The argument escalated fast. In a shocking moment of chaos, Willow lunged forward, grabbing Carly by the arm and accidentally tearing Carly's blouse. That was the breaking point. Carly, shocked and livid, declared that Willow was out of control. She told her, in no uncertain terms, that she needed psychiatric help. Carly went so far as to say she would never, under any circumstances, allow Willow to be alone with Wiley or Amelia ever again unless Willow voluntarily checked herself into a mental health facility. Carly believed that until Willow faced her psychological issues, she was not only a danger to others, but to herself. Willow, hearing those words, broke down. The weight of everything her broken engagement to Drew, her estranged relationship with Michael, Sasha's exile, and now the permanent separation from her children was too much. Through tears, she admitted regret. She whispered apologies. She begged Carly one last time. But Carly didn't budge. Alone and emotionally shattered, Willow made the most difficult decision of her life. She packed her belongings in silence and left a handwritten note for Michael. In it, she confessed that she had lost her way, that she never meant harm to Daisy, that she just missed being a mother so much it twisted something inside her. She expressed her love for Wiley and Amelia and asked only that Michael tell them one day that she loved them more than life itself. Then she left Port Charles. No fanfare. No goodbyes. Just an empty apartment and a car headed out of town. Back in Port Charles, the fallout was significant. Michael, still reeling from the broken engagement and the custody battles, found himself emotionally torn. On one hand, he couldn't forgive Willow for the lies and the danger she posed. On the other, a part of him still remembered the woman he once loved. The one who stood by him when no one else did. The one who held their children and whispered lullabies in the quiet hours of the night. Carly remained unmoved. As far as she was concerned, she had done what needed to be done. Her job was to protect her grandchildren, and she had no regrets. Even so, she knew that deep down, things would never return to the way they were. Willow's exit left a scar on the family dynamicon that would take years to heal, if ever. As for Sasha, she had begun to rebuild her life in another town. Free from the looming presence of Willow, she finally felt safe enough to breathe again. But the trauma of those months never quite faded. She blamed herself for not acting sooner, for not pushing harder to expose Willow's behavior, for trusting a friend who had lost her grip on reality. What comes next remains unclear. There is no word on Willow's location, no hint of her return. Carly and Michael have taken full custody of the children and are focusing on their emotional stability. Sasha remains distant but in touch, checking in occasionally through mutual friends. Willow's departure marks a tragic end to a story that began with love, healing, and motherhood. Her descent into obsession and mental decline was painful to watch, especially for those who once believed in her redemption. Whether she will ever return to Port Charles is unknown. But for now, her chapter has ended not with a reunion, but with a retreat into the unknown. Next, we will delve into the whirlwind of family revelations and emotional upheavals surrounding Lulu Spencer since her dramatic return to Port Charles, where innocent discoveries spiral into heart-wrenching doubts and potential shifts in parental bonds that could redefine relationships for years to come. From the moment Lulu Spencer swept back into the chaotic world of Port Charles, a storm of unexpected turmoil has trailed in her wake. Though none of it stems from any deliberate mischief on her part, but rather from the resurfacing of long-buried secrets that tangle Liz like overgrown vines in a forgotten garden. This resurgence has inadvertently dismantled a fragile connection between her longtime adversary and a child who was never truly theirs, setting off a chain reaction that now has Lulu's own son grappling with profound questions about his very identity, perhaps prompting late-night family discussions filled with old photo albums and tearful explanations as the Falconeri household navigates this minefield of heritage and loyalty. To add fresh layers to this unfolding saga, imagine Lulu reflecting on her own storied past during quiet moments at the docks, where the lapping waves mirror her inner unrest. Pondering how her return, marked by a mix of triumph and vulnerabilities, unwittingly become the catalyst for exposing truths that were meant to stay hidden. Drawing in peripheral characters like her brother Lucky Spencer for supportive cameos that highlight the Spencer family's enduring resilience amid adversity. At the core of this scintillating drama stands Lulu herself, a character whose magnetic presence has captivated audiences since her debut in the 1990s as the spirited offspring of daytime television's legendary super couple, Luke and Laura Spencer, whose epic romance set the benchmark for soap opera passion with adventures spanning continents and decades of intrigue. Over the years, Lulu has evolved through the magic of soap aging and multiple recasts, from Julie Marie Berman's fiery portrayal to M. Ryland's nuanced depth, and now embodied by Alexa Havens-Bruning, who brings a fresh intensity to the role with subtle gestures like a knowing glance or a determined stride that echoes Lulu's unyielding spirit in the face of constant upheaval. Whisperings of yet another replacement for Lulu swirl through the rumor mill, but this time it's not about swapping actresses, oh no. The real threat looms in the form of a surrogate maternal figure emerging to challenge her place in her son's heart, perhaps through tender, unsolicited interactions that blur the lines of biology and nurture, inventing a scenario where Lulu attends a school event only to overhear whispers of this other mother figure, fueling her insecurities and prompting her to seek counsel from trusted allies like Maxie Jones, who offers fashion-forward distractions intertwined with heartfelt advice on reclaiming her parental throne. Shifting focus to the young heart of this storm, let's unpack the identity of Rocco Falconeri, Lulu's teenage son who's suddenly thrust into a whirlwind of self-discovery after learning the astonishing truth that the late Britt Westburn was the one who actually carried and birthed him, having audaciously stolen his embryo in a plot straight out of a mad scientist's playbook and implanting it to claim him as her own under the alias Ben for a tense period before. The deception unraveled like a poorly knit sweater. Now a curious teen navigating the awkward throes of adolescence coupled with growth spurts, budding interests in music or sports, and the occasional rebellious streak. Rocco had been blissfully unaware of this convoluted origin tale until recent revelations hit him like a surprise plot twist, leaving his parents stunned and scrambling to provide context. Perhaps through carefully curated family therapy sessions where old medical records are dusted off to illustrate the embryo theft's intricacies. To invent an enriching detail, picture Rocco stumbling upon an old news clipping in the attic, detailing Britt's dramatic escapades, which sparks his imagination and leads to secret online searches late at night, blending shock with a budding fascination that could evolve into a quest for personal closure amid Port Charo's ever-present undercurrent of mystery. Undeniably, Lulu and Dante Falconeri remain Rocco's devoted parents, anchoring him with their unwavering love and shared history of triumphs over adversity. From Dante's law enforcement escapades to Lulu's journalistic pursuits that often put her in the crosshairs of danger. Yet the revelation has ignited Rocco's insatiable curiosity about the enigmatic Britt, prompting him to boldly reach out to her formidable mother, Liesl Obrecht, in hopes of gleaning stories about the woman who gave him life. Unbeknownst to the Falconeri clan, Britt is poised for a sensational return to town, her resurrection shrouded in secrecy that could culminate in a jaw-dropping encounter at a local cafe or park, where Rocco's wide-eyed wonder meets Britt's guarded charm, raising the tantalizing possibility that she might inadvertently step into a surrogate mom role, offering guidance on everything from teenage dilemmas to hidden family talents like a knack for mischief inherited from her own lineage. Expanding this with a creative flourish, envision Britt sharing anonymized letters or mementos with Rocco through Liesl as an intermediary, weaving threads of connection that test Lulu's patience and force Dante to mediate with his signature calm demeanor. All while the town buzzes with speculation about how this dynamic might fracture or fortify the family's core. Portraying this pivotal role is the talented Finn Carr, who brings Rocco to life with a youthful authenticity that captures the essence of a boy on the cusp of manhood. His performance infused with subtle nuances like hesitant smiles or thoughtful pauses that convey inner conflict without overstatement. In a revealing chat with Soap Opera Digest, Carr explained that he's approaching Rocco's journey as one driven purely by a thirst for knowledge, acknowledging the palpable tension simmering between Rocco and Lulu, perhaps manifesting in awkward dinner table silences or avoided eye contact, but emphasizing that this curiosity doesn't diminish her status as his true mom, reassuring fans that there's no looming favoritism toward Britt on the horizon. He further elaborated that Rocco's inquisitive nature isn't a harbinger of betrayal or shifting allegiances, urging viewers not to fret over potential upheavals, as the storyline promises to explore themes of blended families with sensitivity, maybe incorporating heartfelt scenes where Rocco reaffirms his bond with Lulu through small gestures like helping with her latest investigative project or sharing a laugh over old home videos, countering any invented subplot where external influences, such as school friends egging him on, temporarily heighten the drama before resolution. Next, we will uncover the tangled web of emotions and fractured bonds between Nina Reeves and her daughter Willow Tate. As tensions flare and the question looms, will Nina finally stand her ground in the face of relentless blame? In the ever-dramatic landscape of Port Charles, Nina Reeves has often been painted as a woman with a checkered past, her actions stirring controversy and earning her a fair share of detractors. Yet her dynamic with Willow Tate has cast her in the unenviable role of an emotional punching bag, absorbing blow after blow of disdain despite her earnest efforts to mend their fractured relationship. For far too long, Willow has unleashed her frustrations on Nina, channeling personal disappointments and betrayals into a pointed animosity that seems to grow with each passing conflict. Perhaps finding solace in late-night rants to close confidants like Sasha Gilmore, who listens with a sympathetic ear while sipping herbal tea in a quiet corner of the Metro Court. This ongoing clash, steeped in a history of revelations and regrets, paints a vivid picture of a mother yearning for acceptance while a daughter wrestles with trust, setting the stage for a potential turning point where boundaries might finally be drawn amidst the chaos of their shared past. To enrich this narrative, imagine Nina keeping a private journal, scribbling her unspoken pain and hopes for reconciliation under the dim glow of a desk lamp. A secret outlet that reveals her vulnerability beneath the polished exterior she presents to the world. The roots of this tumultuous bond trace back to the bombshell discovery that Nina is Willow's long-lost biological mother. A revelation that landed like a grenade in Willow's carefully constructed life, shattering any desire for connection as she recoiled from the idea of embracing a woman tied to so much of Port Charles' darker history. Compounding this rejection was Michael Corinthos' deep-seated resentment toward Nina, fueled by her scandalous affair with Sonny Corinthos during the Nixon Falls debacle. A betrayal that burned bridges and stoked Michael's protective instincts, leading Willow to swiftly align with his bitterness. Perhaps influenced by tearful conversations on the Quartermain estate where old wounds were reopened over glasses of vintage wine. As a result, Willow erected impenetrable walls, not only denying Nina a maternal bond but also barring her from the joy of knowing her grandchildren, Wiley and Amelia. A decision that might have been punctuated by tense family gatherings where Nina lingered on the sidelines, watching with a heavy heart as Willow turned away from whispered offers of olive branches. While Nina's past missteps might justify some measure of caution, the severity of Willow's ongoing punishment feels like an unrelenting storm. One that could be further dramatized by imagining Nina attempting small gestures of love like leaving hand-knitted blankets for the children at Willow's doorstep only to have them returned unopened. A silent testament to the depth of their estrangement. A flicker of hope emerged when the tides seemed to turn, particularly during the fallout of Willow's controversial affair with Drew Kane, a scandal that turned much of Port Charles against her. Whispering judgments in hospital corridors and over coffee at Kelly's, yet Nina stood as an unwavering pillar of support, defending her daughter with a ferocity that surprised even her harshest critics. In this moment of crisis, Nina's loyalty shone through, perhaps seen in vivid scenes where she confronted naysayers at a town event. Her voice steady as she championed Willow's right to make mistakes, earning a reluctant nod of respect from onlookers like Carly Spencer who witnessed this rare maternal grit. This act of solidarity prompted Willow to lower her guard, allowing Nina a tentative place in her life, their newfound closeness marked by shared moments like baking together in a sunlit kitchen. Laughter mingling with the scent of fresh cookies as they navigated this fragile trousseau always on Willow's strict terms, a dynamic that kept Nina perpetually on edge, tiptoeing around potential missteps. To add depth, envision Nina quietly enrolling in a parenting class at the local community center, desperate to learn skills that might solidify her shaky foothold in Willow's world. A detail that underscores her willingness to transform for the sake of family, even as she braces for the next inevitable clash. Yet, this delicate harmony was built on a foundation of sand, with Nina constantly aware that one wrong move could send Willow storming away. A fear that materialized when Nina concealed her own romantic entanglement with Drew, a secret that, if disclosed earlier, might have spared them all a mountain of heartache by fostering honesty over deception. When the truth inevitably surfaced, Willow's reaction was a tempest of rage, her hurt exploding in heated confrontations likely set in the stark, sterile halls of General Hospital itself, where her accusations echoed off the walls, blaming Nina for a betrayal that cut deeper than expected, even as bystanders like Elizabeth Baldwin looked on with conflicted sympathy. While Nina undeniably erred in her silence, perhaps wrestling with her decision during sleepless nights spent staring at old photos of happier times, ferocity of Willow's wrath seems disproportionate, piling fault upon her mother for choices that were never Nina's to bear, such as Willow's blind trust in Drew's honeyed lies despite warnings from trusted allies like Jocelyn Jacks, who saw through his facade from the start. Expanding on this, picture Willow ignoring a handwritten note from Nina, slipped under her door, pleading for a chance to explain. A gesture lost in the storm of her anger as she focuses instead on her own spiraling regrets over losing access to her children through her own misjudgments. The crux of this saga lies in the stark reality that Nina did not orchestrate the collapse of Willow's life, Willow's own decisions. Fueled by an unwavering devotion to Drew and a refusal to heed the chorus of caution from Port Charles residents, carved that path of destruction, leading to the heart-wrenching loss of her connection with her children. a consequence that might unfold in poignant scenes of her gazing through a window at their daycare, unseen and aching. Nina, often a scapegoat for broader frustrations, has absorbed an unfair share of blame. Her mistakes magnified under the lens of Willow's disappointment, while her genuine efforts to support lie quietly funding a legal consultation for Willow's custody battle go unnoticed, buried beneath layers of resentment that cloud their every interaction. To invent a new angle, consider Nina confiding in a surprising ally, perhaps Felicia Scorpio, during a chance meeting at the park, where she pours out her struggle to balance love with self-respect. Gaining insight from Felicia's own history of familial discord, a conversation that plants the seed of standing up for herself while still holding space for reconciliation. Now, the pivotal question emerges: might it finally be time for Nina to push back against this cycle of blame and assert her own worth, refusing to remain a doormat in her desperate bid for her daughter's affection? While her longing for a meaningful relationship with Willow is palpable, enduring constant criticism and emotional blows need not be the price of that bond. A realization that could dawn during a solitary moment at Crimson's office, surrounded by glossy magazines as she resolves to redefine their dynamic with a newfound strength. Perhaps Nina could take a bold step by stepping back, allowing Willow to navigate the wreckage of her self-made mess without maternal intervention. A tough love approach that might manifest in Nina declining to mediate yet another crisis, instead focusing on rebuilding her own life made through a new business venture or rekindling old friendships with characters like Ava Jerome, who understands the sting of familial rejection. This shift could force Willow to confront who has truly been her unwavering supporter through every storm, recognizing Nina's quiet sacrifices. Like the time she stood outside courtroom doors during custody hearings, praying silently for a favorable outcome, a detail that adds emotional weight to their potential reckoning. As the drama unfolds on ABC General Hospital, the evolving saga of Nina and Willow promises to deliver raw, soul-stirring moments that challenge the boundaries of forgiveness and self-respect in the crucible of family ties. What do you think, GH fans? Is it time for Nina to draw a firm line in the sand and demand the respect she deserves? Or should she continue to weather the storm for the sake of love? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and stay tuned for more heart-pounding updates from Port Charles, where every relationship hangs by a thread.